This video is sponsored by Renaissance Bank, the best bank in the South. Check them out at renaissancennation.com.
Hey, what's up? Matt White here. Hope y'all are doing well. I'm watching some football, getting keyed up for the 2019 season. And I started watching little Jake Fromm, Georgia. He'll be a junior. I've always thought that one of the most important things about playing quarterback, played just a little bit of it myself, is your ability to bounce back. Have a bad play, because you're going to have them. I don't care who you are, you're going to have bad plays, probably a lot of them. Not necessarily that you're always doing the wrong thing, but you can do the right things and sometimes have a bad throw or a bad result, and it'll kind of jump into your conscience if you're not careful. So the ability to have a bad play, something go wrong, totally just forget it immediately and move on to the next one and just go make the next play. Yeah, kind of a makeup thing, but more so the ability to, something negative happens, and in your head, because you're the leader, you're the steady one, you got to be on to the next play immediately, almost like a coach. Just completely wipe that slate clean and move on. And I see that ability in Jake Fromm. Not that he's had a bunch of negative plays. He hasn't. He's been really good. Here's some examples. Now, I want to start off with one against Florida, a situation where Fromm had Georgia in the red zone. Florida's going to, down here in the red zone, bring that linebacker over the A-gap and get him right inside the guard, right beside the center, untouched, free to the QB. What happens there as a quarterback, you take a sack like that, you can see he's trying to take care of the football, but he's also thinking about getting it out of there because he's going to have one-on-one in here. He just doesn't have time, so it's a risk on a defense's part. But when you get hit like this, biggest thing is you don't turn it over right there in a scoring situation. But you get hit like that and thrown around, it can kind of throw you for a loop. Mentally, you start to wonder, you start to look, where did that come from? You talk to your guys. The very next play, after the sack, 3rd and 13, now what are you going to do? Got to make a play. It's 3rd down. He chooses the one-on-one and a perfect strike. Look at it from this angle one more time. You can see what he's getting. The previous play, he knew he had the one-on-one, didn't get the ball out because he got hit. So think about this time. Now you've got only 2 linemen with their hands down. It's 3rd down. You got 1, 2, 3 standing up. So 5 guys on the line of scrimmage, only 2 with their hand down. It does look like man over here with your bunch and a free safety, but he's got the calm to just recognize, I don't need to worry about any of that because I got a one-on-one here, and if I don't get hit, I can get the ball out. It's exactly what he gets. Eyes in the middle to hold it just a minute, the safety that is, and then make the throw over there. If we went back and looked, he didn't initially begin to look at his receiver here. The first thing he did is he put his eyes right here in the middle, and it just kind of holds that safety in here on the hash just long enough to make sure he doesn't get over there and knock this thing away. He's already done that pre-snap. And you can see here, yeah, he's wide open, but he's pushed against the sideline. If the ball is left inside on this angle, the safety could get there. If it's underthrown behind, the corner's going to get there. You've got to make a perfect throw back here on this pylon, even though, yeah, he's wide open, and it is a perfect throw. So he bounced back. Let's look at that snap one more time and watch his eyes. So he's in the shotgun. Snap, where does his eyes go? Right here, as soon as he catches the snap. You can see what I'm saying? His eyes are right in here in the middle. You're trying to hold hash defenders there because he's already planned on going back here and taking the one-on-one. So that's a good job. And again, once he's behind, you can't underthrow it outside. You can't leave it inside because you've got defenders on both spots. You got to make sure it's here and catchable and puts it back on that pylon. So it's a great example of negative play. You get sacked, thrown around. It can really kind of get in your head. Now you're 3rd and long, but immediately puts all that, forgets it, like trashes it like it never happened, and immediately he's locked in and doing his job. Eyes on the safety, boom, throw a touchdown. All right, here's an example from the LSU game. So here against LSU, the key is it's a 3rd down. You're down by 13 points in the 3rd quarter of the game, and you're having to snap a 3rd down inside your own 5-yard line. And, worst case scenario, turn it over on that side of the field, and that's what happens. He's reading that dig route coming across, and you don't fault him at all for choosing the route because you look at all the space before the safety can get there. If your receiver can win, you can get it in there. And, he's trying to put the ball low where only his guy has a chance and there's no tip and everything. But still, it's behind, and the guy for LSU just makes a phenomenal catch and play on the football. So it's an interception. And that's the kind of thing down on this end of the field, it can really sometimes, put you in a funk as a quarterback because you hate that mistake so bad. But after that, the defense only gave up a field goal. It's a 19-3 game. And now you're back out here with a football, and he comes back, and the very next throw that he makes is going to be a really strong, when they get a wheel route out of the backfield, and he puts it on him back shoulder. Now, again, this did lead to a score for them. I don't know if it led to a touchdown. I think it did lead to a field goal, but ball on the right hash. And so they've got everything kind of bunched over here on that side. So it's easy for them to get the wheel route matched up against the linebacker, and that's what they get. So he's starting to release. You can already see Devin White, the linebacker, picking him up. That's who he gets matched up on. Comes out of it, finds the one-on-one, and make a really strong throw to get a drive started. Now, obviously, Georgia didn't win that LSU game. It wound up being a loss, but in a tough situation, on the road, I still see that bounce-back ability. Negative interception on side of the field, come right back, make a big throw to lead a scoring drive. Just a bounce-back ability, that mental ability to just trash it, move on. You see that from Jake Fromm. And so, third example, it's Alabama game, SEC title game in Atlanta. And this is one where from one quarter to the next, and we'll start with the last throw of the second quarter. So here he is against Alabama. Last throw of the second quarter. You can see down here, there's 21 seconds left. Alabama's going to rush 3, drop it off in zone with 2 safeties, and he hangs in there, but then misses him. It's almost a pick. A couple things about this. First of all, he's been hit on this drive. He's been sacked, and they did it with a 3-man rush. So that's recent memory. And here they are dropping on 2nd and 10. He knows he's going to hang on for a little bit. And he really just sits back there and is really patient. So the contact doesn't really affect him. But then you're going to make the throw. So he slips out. He sees him. Now, if you miss like this and it's picked off, if that's caught, it can really get in your head. But even as a QB, when you sail it and you feel that and you go into the locker room at halftime, you think about it. If you're not careful, you can kind of let it get in your head. You're like, how could I make that throw? It was almost picked off. Then you come back, and the very next throw that he makes is here in the third quarter. 4 wides, another 3-man rush, bring a 4th late, and he throws a dime. So you look at the time on the clock. They've gotten the football on the Alabama side of the field. And so, again, you're just starting the third quarter. This is the first throw since the bad throw that ended the first half. Again, you get a 3-man front. They've got 2 safeties back here, going to drop them, bring a 4th late. But look what he does. You saw right then, he made eye contact out here and saw the corner. He got all that room. One thing is, ball's on the left hash. Why does he choose that side of the field? You do have bump man here, but look, your numbers are here, and this receiver is squeezed out onto the sideline. Because the ball's on the left hash, your widest receiver on the other side, wide side of the field, has all this room. He's not even outside on the numbers. She's got more room for him to win and to throw it into. So it's a smart choice to begin with. Really tight coverage, so it takes an excellent throw. And when you look at the placement of the football, sideline here, pylon here, you look at the placement of the ball with that coverage, it just doesn't get any better than that. So bad throw to end the quarter and an excellent throw to begin the next one. There's a lot of things that make you successful. Yes, he can make all the throws. He's really good. Got great players around him. But it's that mental ability, that savvy to negative experience does not affect the next play. And that is so valuable at that position. I think it's one of the reasons it makes him an elite prospect. And, too, a lot of people evaluate him and what's he going to be in the future. You look at what he did. I'm looking at a guy who, as a freshman, he's at 62%, 2,600 yards. He was better in every way last year. Higher percentage, 67% completions, threw for more yards last year than he did the year before. His yards per attempt, exactly the same 2 years in a row, but his touchdown to interception ratio improved last year from his freshman year. So I just see a guy with all the right makeup, and if he makes that next step as a junior, the way he did from freshman to sophomore, he could be in for a really big year. All right, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know about it. I'm Radio Wyatt on Twitter, @Radio Wyatt, and also on Instagram, so y'all hit me up. And check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/Radio Wyatt. And let me know what you think. I'd always love to hear from you. And again, thanks to Renaissance Bank for sponsoring these videos. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time. See you.